All right, if you're watching the live stream, this is the biggest of the big dogs coming up, the King of the Mountain Open. Nearly everyone that is going to be out here are just going to be on leader bikes, and as we just heard, probably going to be a couple of track records broken. So we can't wait for this action coming up. We should have yet another track day and track star racing onboard camera on the Canadian that just put the whooping, Mr. Sweeney. And we hope to get some really, really good action here coming up. So to run down the lineup, we're going to have number 133, Jeff Stern, 214, David Hetzler, 96, Michael Bradshaw, 72, Shane White, 77, Eric Postniaks, 999, Jesse Shurston, number 79, Peter DeGraff, 527, Gerald Hicks, 771, Matthew Lewis, 599, Peter Tabor, the silent assassin, number 39, Kevin Dolan, number 39, Kevin Dolan, number 99, Oh Canada, Chad Swain, 912, Trent Owens, 57, Oleg, the absolute dominator, and then number 67, Damian Olson. And we're on board with Swain. He's coming out of the pit lane because he did not make the side-in lap. He's going to drop in, and we're going to try to get him up to speed here. Hopefully he will. We've seen the wheels that Swain has. If anyone can catch up, this cat can. And we're off to the first turn, and it looks like, let's see, who's got the whole shot? Holy cow. These guys are bunched up, and they're absolutely tearing it apart here. As they go into Ignitemedia, first, second, third, and fourth place are there right together. We're trying to get you a leader, but it looks like, holy cow, we had a wheelie coming out of ecstasy by the leader. Like we just said, there are going to be some track records possibly broken here, and they're going for it here on the first lap. Oleg is in first. Pionic, two-time defending master of the mountains champion. He's the king. He's coming in hot to the clubhouse turn in first place. It looks like Bradshaw is in second, but we do not have confirmation of that. No, Bradshaw is third. We're trying to get you a name for second. We'll see as they come across the line. These guys are giving it their absolute all. As they come across the line, it's going to be Oleg in first, Peter DeGraff in second, Bradshaw third, Hicks fourth, Shurston fifth, Jeff Stern sixth, Peter Tabor seventh, Kevin Dolan eighth, Damian Olson ninth, Eric Postniaks 10th, Ryan Brand is back and in 11th, Shane White's 12th, Matthew Lewis 13th, Trent Owens 14th, and Chad Swain is in 15th, started last, closing fast. Chad Swain has already caught up to Trent Owens, and he is looking to get by him. Oleg is blasting down into agony. DeGraff, the other Canadian, right on his tail. Bradshaw right on them as they come out of ecstasy. Oleg pulls. Bradshaw pulls on DeGraff. Shurston trying to hang with the lead group as we are on board with Swain. They come out of Tooele turn, and it's still Oleg Pionic out front. Still DeGraff in second, Bradshaw in third, Hicks fourth, Shurston, Oleg with about a half a second gap, 3 bike lengths. Hicks making a move on Bradshaw, DeGraff trying to get the drive. Then we've got Shurston, Stern, and Tabor. Tabor again driving, but he's got a lot of work to do if he's going to sneak one by on this one. As we come in, we're on board with Chad Swain. And Swain looks like he is pulling off and heading to pit road. So to give you folks at home a clue who've been watching the cast all day, Oleg just turned a 134.8, which is the fastest lap of the day that I've seen pop up. Peter DeGraff in second turns a 135.07. Bradshaw, 134.9. Hicks, a 134.9. Schurston, a 137.9. And that's where the gap is. Schurston, Stern, and Tabor all at 137. The top four are all at 134. Sweeney just came in with the onboard to pit road.
Say Schurston, Stern, and Tabor a ways off the pace there as the race leaders now into the Tooele corner. Tooele corner they go.
Pionic comes out of Tooele turn. Bradshaw is making a move on DeGraff, trying to make it stick so he can go after Oleg Pionic. He's looking outside, he's looking inside, he's doing everything he can. Oleg pulling just a bit more gap than we've seen the previous lap. DeGraff trying to keep up. Bradshaw making a move on DeGraff right now. Working outside, working inside. He's going to try to cut this last turn to the inside and get on the inside. Isn't going to happen. It's a drag race off the turn, and it's still Pionic, DeGraff, Bradshaw, Hicks, Schurston. Oleg just pulled a 134.7. DeGraff is right on him with a 134.7, as well as Bradshaw 134.7. It is absolutely all out on this race. The top three are within striking distance. Gerald Hicks is trying his best to get up there and give them a run for the money, but it's just not close enough right now, and we're 4 laps into this main event, King of the Mountain class race. They drop into agony and ecstasy. Oleg still pulls a pretty good gap. Peter DeGraff, Michael Bradshaw right there trying to make something happen. Hicks has lost the top 3. Oleg has lost the top 2. I didn't hear what they said. As we come into the last turn, Oleg still up front. Bradshaw trying to make a move on DeGraff. Bradshaw looks to have a little more speed than DeGraff in a couple of these turns out here, and he's trying to make a move so he can go after Pionic. We're 5 laps in, halfway through this race. Bradshaw is all over DeGraff as Pionic turns a 134.6 for the last lap. DeGraff 135.3, Bradshaw 135.3, Hicks 135.8. Pionic has pulled an even bigger gap. He is absolutely dominating this race from the get-go. It looks to be about a 15 bike length gap as he has absolutely dropped second and third and put the hammer down, emphatically putting his stamp on who is the king of the mountain for the first round here for this year's series. Bradshaw again showing more speed than DeGraff, trying to get around so he can make a run, but I just don't know if we're going to have time for Bradshaw to make a run at Pionic. Bradshaw drives in hard on DeGraff as Pionic pulling away. They come around the clubhouse turn. Bradshaw looking for anything to get around here. DeGraff slows on that one. Bradshaw catches back up. Pionic busts around the outside, and he is away and gone. Bradshaw trying to get a drive here to make a move. Bradshaw stalking DeGraff as Pionic is pulling away here. To give you a top 10 rundown, it's Pionic in first, DeGraff second, Bradshaw third, then Hicks, Tabor in fifth, Stern sixth, Schurston 7th, Ryan Brand 8th, Damian Olson 9th, and Kevin Dolan in 10th. For 11th, we've got Shane White, Trent Owens in 12th, Matthew Lewis in 13th, Eric Postniks in 14th, and Chad Swain is out. It appears that Bradshaw and DeGraff are pretty close to the same speed, as they both have their good spots and their bad spots in the track, and they're equaling out pretty well right now. It appears that Bradshaw is going to have to get a drive coming into the clubhouse turn to really get around on the last turn to drive down the straightaway to get a move on DeGraff and try to take that position, as their times are almost identical lap for lap. As we come through the clubhouse turn, we see Oleg coming into the last turn before he absolutely lets it fly. DeGraff has got a little more gap this time on Bradshaw. Bradshaw may just be running out of time and rubber to try to make a move as they blast down the front straightaway. Hicks has lost the lead group, but he is still keeping the fight on, as Tabor has made several moves, moved up to 5th, and he is on his way of tracking down Hicks. We'll see if he can make that happen, but I do believe he is going to run out of time as we're on lap 7. Pionic pulls even more of a lead now as Bradshaw drives in on DeGraff in agony and ecstasy. Let's see if he can keep the pace here as they drive out of ecstasy and up toward the attitudes, as Ole Pionic is absolutely gone at this point. Unless something happens, I do not think either second nor third place is going to have anything for him, as Bradshaw stalks DeGraff through the attitudes and tries to get a drive on him as they come up through the Tooele turn. As we come into the clubhouse corner, Pionic has pulled out. Bradshaw is back again, stalking DeGraff, trying to find a way around, trying to find that better spot that's just good enough to get around where he can make a run on Ole Pionic. Bradshaw cuts to the inside, hugs it tight, tries to get a drive. DeGraff gets just as good a drive coming off that last turn. They shoot down into the first turn. It's still nose to tail for second and third as Hicks comes flying up, and Tabor is making up time on Hicks, as Tabor can now see Hicks as he comes out of the last turn as Hicks goes into the first turn. As we show second and third coming out of the attitudes, coming up toward the Tooele turn, it's still Ole Pionic out front, turning a 1:34.7 for that last lap. Peter DeGraff turned a 1:35.1, and Bradshaw turned a 1:34.9, but you wouldn't know it because Bradshaw is all over DeGraff. All he's smelling is exhaust as he's trying to find that one spot. And again, as they come through the windup, heading toward the release, Bradshaw gets a great drive, but DeGraff just stays in front. Pionic continues to push as he drops 3/10 off his last lap time, now to a 1:34.6. DeGraff pushes as well to a 1:34.9, and Bradshaw's at a 1:35.1. Looks like this may be how they stick unless something changes here to the end of the line. But there are still parts of the track where Bradshaw is absolutely harassing DeGraff. As Pionic drives down out of satisfaction into agony and out of ecstasy. Your top 10 running order: Oleg Pionic, Peter DeGraff, Michael Bradshaw, Gerald Hickson 4th, Peter Tabor 5th, Jeff Stern 6th, Jesse Shurston 7th, Ryan Brand 8th, Damian Olson in 9th, and Kevin Dolan in 10th. As we come into the clubhouse turn, Holick still pushing as he lifts the front wheel in as he drives into the windup. Blows out, comes toward release. He is really pushing his motorbike today as he is just a little squirrely as he comes out and drives down the front stretch, lifts that front tire and drives toward the first turn. Bradshaw still stalking the Groff, trying to find a way around. Hicks still at the same gap. And Tabor coming around the last turn now, looking down, trying to get the motivation in the drive to hunt down Hicks so that he can get 4th place. As we get a shot of the attitudes, Pionic still pushing hard. Bradshaw still stalking the Graf, trying to find a way around as he drops through the attitudes and chases him up through the two-wheeler turn. Pionic pulling a sizable gap now on 2nd place to Graf and Bradshaw. Bradshaw still stalking the Graf as we come through the clubhouse turn. Bradshaw closer than he's been in a while. Going to try to make a run. Cuts it tight on the apex, trying to get a run to the inside on the Graf. They're neck and neck as they blast down the front stretch, and the gap remains the same as it has most the entire race. As Bradshaw still stalking the Graf, trying to make something happen. Lap times for our leaders stay consistent. Pionic continually running a 1:34.8 to 1:34.6. Peter DeGraff running a 1:35.4, and Bradshaw running a 1:35.3. Pionic still dominating this race, coming around the clubhouse turn, heading into the last turn before he comes down the straightaway. A little twitch in the front end there. He's been a little squirrely riding that edge. Again, Bradshaw stalking the Graf, trying to get something done as they blast down the straightaway again. We are on lap 12 of 14, so we're nearing the end here as these racers are giving it their all here in the premier race class of the day, King of the Mountain O. Battle continues as Bradshaw all over the Groff, trying to make it happen here with just a few laps left in this race. Your 10th through 15 remains the same. Dolan, Shane White, Eric Postniak, Trent Owens, and Matthew Lewis. Chad Swain is out. As they come through again, it appears that DeGraff and Bradshaw are closing in a little bit on Oleg Piontek. Maybe Oleg backing it down here, trying to conserve some tires as Bradshaw continues to stalk DeGraff here. But it appears that that gap is going to stay the same till the end unless something gives. Yeah, it appears Oleg Piontek backed it down that lap. He lost 0.3 of a second compared to his previous lap. Really putting it on the couch. Holy smokes. And we're back here, lost feet for a little bit. We are on the last lap. Still the same running order as before. Piontek out front, DeGraff second, Bradshaw third, Hicks fourth, Stern, and then Tabor. These racers really pushing it out here. We're on our last lap of the King of the Mountain Open race. Piontek still dominating out front. Bradshaw still trying to get around DeGraff. Piontek comes into the clubhouse turn, still driving, coming through traffic. All he's got to do is put it on cruise control. Bradshaw stalking the graphics. He comes through clubhouse. I don't think it's going to happen. Bradshaw drives out of the second to last turn, drops in hard. Ty goes to the outside of DeGraff, tries to break to the inside, is not going to do it. DeGraff is going to hold him off at the line. Bradshaw give it everything he could. Outside, inside again, and it just wasn't enough. Your race winner, Oleg Piontek. Second, Peter DeGraff. Third, Michael Bradshaw. Fourth, Gerald Hicks. Fifth, Jeff Stern. Well, possibly Stern. Tabor has caught Stern. We're coming in next to the last corner. Stern drops to the inside. Tabor is a good 4 or 5 bike lengths off, and nope, Stern is going to take it. Stern takes fifth. Tabor takes sixth. Shurston will be seventh.